Brussels had barely awakened when thousands of purple-clad fans were already filling the streets surrounding the stadium. The excitement that had dominated the Belgian capital since BTS arrived for their Arirang World Tour had somehow grown even stronger overnight. Hotels buzzed with conversations in dozens of languages, cafes echoed with BTS songs playing softly in the background, and every nearby street corner seemed to transform into a gathering place for ARMY members eager to experience another unforgettable day. Although the official Day 2 concert was still hours away, fans knew that one event carried a special kind of magic, the Soundcheck. Unlike the main performance, Soundcheck always felt intimate, unpredictable, and filled with genuine interactions. It was one of the few moments where artists could simply be themselves before the spectacular lights, fireworks, and elaborate production took over. Long before the stadium gates opened, dedicated fans lined up with banners, handmade gifts, and carefully prepared fan projects. Some had traveled from neighboring countries such as France, Germany, and the Netherlands, while others had flown halfway across the world just for these 2 nights in Brussels. Everyone had one question. Would today be different? The previous night's concert had already become one of the most talked about performances of the tour, with social media exploding under hashtags celebrating BTS's incredible stage presence. Yet experienced ARMY members knew something important. Jungkook loved surprises. Throughout BTS's career, he had developed a reputation for turning ordinary moments into unforgettable memories. Whether it was singing an unexpected song, joking with fans, or creating spontaneous interactions, he possessed a unique ability to make every audience feel personally connected. That possibility alone was enough to keep anticipation at its highest level. As security prepared the venue and staff completed final technical checks, whispers began circulating among those waiting outside. Something feels different today. I heard they're preparing something special. Did anyone else notice extra cameras inside? None of the rumors could be confirmed, but speculation spread rapidly across fan communities online. Every new photograph posted from outside the stadium sparked another wave of theories. Inside, stage crews worked carefully to fine-tune lighting positions and adjust camera angles. Musicians rehearsed portions of the setlist while dancers stretched across the massive performance area. Everything appeared routine, yet there was an undeniable sense of excitement among the staff. Around midday, selected fans holding Soundcheck tickets slowly entered the stadium. Even before the members appeared, loud cheers erupted simply because everyone knew they were moments away from seeing BTS in a much more relaxed atmosphere than the evening concert. Purple light sticks illuminated sections of the audience despite the bright afternoon sunlight. Then the music stopped. A brief silence filled the enormous stadium. Suddenly, the giant LED screens lit up. Seconds later, the 7 members of BTS walked casually onto the stage wearing comfortable rehearsal outfits rather than their glamorous concert costumes. The reaction was immediate. RM smiled and waved. Jin greeted fans with exaggerated bows that instantly made everyone laugh. Suga quietly observed the audience while offering his signature gentle smile. J-Hope danced across part of the stage before the music even started. Jimin formed a heart with both hands. V flashed his famous boxy smile toward fans seated near the front rows. Finally, Jungkook stepped forward. The stadium erupted once again. Even during a simple rehearsal, his energy seemed limitless. Wearing a relaxed black outfit and holding a wireless microphone, he greeted the audience with a warm smile before looking around the massive venue as though trying to memorize every face. "Good afternoon," he called. The response nearly shook the stadium. Without any formal introduction, the members began warming up with portions of several songs from the night's setlist. Occasionally they stopped to discuss choreography with dancers or laugh after someone made a small mistake. Everything felt wonderfully natural. Fans weren't simply watching performers. They were witnessing 7 friends enjoying themselves before the biggest show of the evening. Jungkook repeatedly walked from one side of the stage to the other, waving at every section of the audience. Whenever someone held up a creative sign, he paused to read it before laughing or giving a thumbs up. One banner caught his attention. It read, "Brussels loves you like family." He stopped walking, placed one hand over his heart, then bowed deeply toward the fans. The audience exploded into emotional cheers. Nearby, Jimin smiled knowingly. He seemed unsurprised that Jungkook had once again found a way to transform a simple fan message into an unforgettable interaction. Minutes later, the rehearsal continued with another energetic performance. Everything seemed perfectly normal. Until suddenly, the music stopped. Again. Jungkook quietly approached one of the staff members standing near the side of the stage. The two exchanged a brief conversation. Staff members immediately began moving around more quickly. Several technicians adjusted equipment that hadn't been part of the original rehearsal schedule. Fans noticed. Confused whispers spread throughout the audience. What's happening? Did something go wrong? Why are they changing microphones? Even the other BTS members looked curious. RM crossed his arms while watching Jungkook with an amused expression. Jin laughed. J-Hope covered his face, seemingly trying not to spoil whatever was about to happen. Jimin looked toward the audience with a smile that suggested he already knew the surprise. V folded his hands behind his back while quietly observing the preparations. Suga simply smiled. Then, Jungkook picked up an acoustic guitar. The crowd instantly gasped. This instrument hadn't appeared during previous rehearsals. No one expected it. He adjusted the guitar strap before sitting on the edge of the stage instead of standing beneath the bright lights. For a brief moment, the enormous stadium became almost completely silent. Thousands of people instinctively lowered their voices. The atmosphere changed entirely. It no longer felt like a stadium rehearsal. It felt like a small gathering between friends. Jungkook looked up toward the audience and smiled. "I wanted to try something different today," he said softly. The audience erupted again. A warm acoustic melody floated through the stadium. Every conversation stopped. Every camera focused on him. Even crew members paused their work. Across the stage, the remaining BTS members quietly sat down to watch alongside the fans, smiling proudly as Jungkook prepared to deliver an unexpected moment that nobody attending day 2 would ever forget. The entire stadium seemed to hold its breath, knowing they were witnessing something beautifully unplanned, one of those rare moments that could never be perfectly recreated because its magic existed only in that exact place, at that exact time, shared between BTS and ARMY in Brussels. The gentle sound of the acoustic guitar echoed through every corner of the stadium, creating a peaceful contrast to the thunderous cheers that had filled the venue only moments earlier. Fans instinctively lowered their ARMY bombs, allowing the quiet atmosphere to settle naturally. Even those seated in the highest sections leaned forward, afraid of missing a single second. Jungkook smiled shyly as he looked across the sea of purple lights. "I don't usually plan these things," he admitted with a laugh, causing thousands of fans to laugh along with him. But Brussels has given us so much love since we arrived. I wanted to give something back." The words alone were enough to trigger another wave of emotional cheers. RM shook his head with a smile, clearly amused by Jungkook's spontaneous decision. "See?" RM joked into his microphone. "This is exactly why we never know what he's going to do." The members burst into laughter. Jin playfully pointed toward Jungkook. "He didn't tell any of us." "I really didn't," Jungkook replied while grinning. The audience loved every second of their natural chemistry. Without another word, Jungkook began softly playing a beautiful melody that no one had expected to hear during a simple soundcheck. The arrangement felt intimate and stripped down, allowing every note to resonate through the stadium with remarkable clarity. Thousands of smartphones slowly rose into the air. Not because fans wanted perfect recordings. Because they wanted to preserve the memory. Some simply lowered their phones after a few seconds and chose to experience the moment with their own eyes instead. It felt too special to watch through a screen. As the melody continued, the remaining BTS members quietly gathered behind Jungkook, sitting casually along the edge of the stage. There was no choreography. No dazzling lighting effects. No explosive pyrotechnics. Just 7 friends enjoying music together. The simplicity somehow made the atmosphere even more emotional. Near the front row, several fans wiped tears from their eyes. Others held each other's hands in disbelief. "This feels unreal," one fan whispered. "I can't believe we're witnessing this." When the final chord faded away, the stadium remained completely silent for nearly 2 seconds. Then, an explosion of applause swept across the venue. The cheers became so loud that Jungkook instinctively laughed in surprise. He placed a hand over his chest before bowing deeply once again. "Thank you," he said sincerely. Before anyone expected another surprise, J-Hope suddenly stood up. "Wait." The audience instantly erupted again. "I have an idea." The members exchanged playful looks. "What kind of idea?" Jin asked. Instead of answering, J-Hope walked toward Jungkook, borrowed the acoustic guitar for a moment, and dramatically pretended to play a complicated solo. Everyone laughed. Even the security staff near the barricades couldn't hide their smiles. Jimin then joined the joke by pretending to become the audience's loudest fan, clapping enthusiastically while cheering for J-Hope's imaginary performance. The playful energy spread throughout the stadium. Soon, V joined in by pretending to interview Jungkook. "So?" V asked with exaggerated seriousness. "Did you prepare this?" Jungkook smiled mischievously. "Maybe." "Liar." The entire stadium burst into laughter. RM couldn't stop laughing either. This is exactly what rehearsal becomes whenever cameras aren't rolling. Fans treasured moments like these because they revealed the genuine friendship that had connected BTS for years.